I am pleased to welcome Jeffrey Siegel, a world-renowned ceramics artist who's going to be at the Quinta Art Celebration through this weekend. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So happy to have you and happy to see your work in person. I was admiring some of the photos that you sent over. Talk a little bit about, first off, why you chose this medium and where you get your inspiration from.
Sure. So I started this when I was about 17.
Oh, wow.
And fell in love with clay at that time, and I'm 66 now, and so I've worked with clay a long time. I took about 20 years off to raise a family. When I found one of my kids spinning themselves on my potter's wheel, I realized that it's not going to work to have young kids and pottery at the same time.
They get into everything,
But my inspiration was really strong at 17, and I taught for a little while in the evenings after I got off of my business job during the day. I met my wife, and she was one of my students.
Oh, wow.
And so I married one of my students, and 33 years later, we have 3 wonderful kids.
That's incredible. So, and you're going to bring some of these pieces over to La Quinta, but these pieces have traveled the world with you.
Right.
It earned you a gold medal in Florence, Italy even. Tell us about that. That's pretty special.
Well, I was invited, I'll hold it up here, I was invited to Florence, Italy, to the Biennale, and to be juried in. And I got juried in, which means that you're accepted to exhibit your work. I brought over 3 pieces, this being one of them. And there were about 340 artists there.
Wow. So lots of competition.
Lots of competition. There was about 7 international judges that judged the work. And at the end of the 7 days, it was a wonderful time, and lots of wonderful people, wonderful artists.
Yeah, you got to bring your family, you were saying, right?
Got to bring my family. 11 of us were there, and they called out my name and had me up on the screen and congratulated me for winning. It's called the Lorenzo El Magnifico Gold Medal, named after Lorenzo.
That's okay.
Lorenzo de Medici, named after Lorenzo de Medici.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And so as I'm looking at your artwork, we were talking about it, it's meant to be admired. You were showing me a little bit about the pieces. This one really stands out to me. You were saying that there is a reef, a coral reef on top of it.
Right. This is coral, black fan coral, and it is sourced from the coral beds off of Hawaii, ethically sourced. It's not plucked from the coral beds, because that wouldn't be very good. And so they grow it for commercial reasons, and it has to go through a regulatory agency before it can get distributed in the United States. And I have a distributor for that, and I put that on top of the lid. I attach all my sculpture to a lid, and the lid fits into a vase.
Wow.
Now on the vase, you see all these lines, which some people may say look like roots.
Yes, I was going to say, I noticed a theme with your pieces. What are those?
So this is horsehair. So I don't put the horsehair in the clay. I take the piece out of the kiln when it's about 1,000 degrees hot.
Wow.
And I lay the horsehair on the clay. And it leaves a black impression behind as it burns away.
How did you even think of doing that?
Well, there's an old fable about a young American girl who got too close to the fire when her mom was doing pottery, and the singeing of her hair on the pottery gave me an idea. There's a few people that do this. I'm not the only one, but I have my own style, my own technique for it. I believe in less is more. I don't put as much horsehair on my pieces. I like the open space around it, and I just kind of made it my own practice. So all my pieces have horsehair on them.
All of them. That's a universal theme.
That's a universal theme. And this little spring, if you can see it, this little tan impression is ferric chloride. It's used for glass etching.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And it makes a really nice tan impression.
And then this has gold.
So this has gold on it, little spots of gold, which is a gold leaf. And it also has some black dots on it, which you won't believe what that comes from. I sprinkle Sweet and Low
Really?
on my pieces, and the sugar is organic, and it burns away and fills in some of the voids where I don't want too much horsehair, but I want something there to catch your eye.
That's fun. So tell me about where folks can, if they don't get a chance to catch you and your artwork in La Quinta this weekend, where else can they find you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram, Jeffrey Siegel Ceramics.
Okay.
You can find me on my website, which is jeffreysiegelceramics.com. And I have a great website, lots of great pieces on there. And get a lot of activity. I only make about 35 pieces a year.
Oh, wow.
I spend a lot of time on them, and people tell me I should raise my prices, but I try to make them affordable. Inflation. Yeah, they go.
How long does it take you actually to make one of your pieces typically?
Well, there's a lot involved in it. A piece like this might be 10 hours.
Oh, wow.
A piece like this with the sculpting, it's a matter, you sculpt a little bit, then you walk away from it, you let it dry a little more, and you come back and sculpt some more. This is an interesting piece that I hadn't mentioned. This sculpture here is called Icarus Rising. If you remember Icarus from the Greek mythology.
I do. He got too close to the sun.
Got too close to the sun and his wings melted. So this is Icarus before he got too close to the sun.
That's beautiful.
Before he stopped listening to his dad. And he got too close to the sun, and his wings melted and he fell. So,
always listen to your parents.
Always listen to your parents, yeah.
So remind our folks watching, our viewers at home, where they can catch you, get more information for Thursday through the weekend.
So I'm at the La Quinta Art Celebration in booth 809.
Okay.
And I'll have a lot of my pieces out there, and it'll be a very exciting time, a lot of great artists out there, and it'll be a good time had by all.
Wonderful. And of course you can check out our website for more information if you'd like more details. So thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely, you're welcome.